Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to IQ Illuminating Quran. My name is Sahar Rizk. I hope everyone is doing well. Today, inshallah, we'll continue with Al-Imran verses 33 to 52. Let me know if that's too many verses. I usually do 9 verses, but today we're doing 19. Let's see if it's too much. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We did this verse last time, but he picked up on it. So it says, قل أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول فإن تولوا. So the messengers were asking them to follow, they were told to follow Allah and the messengers, and they turned away. And when they turned away, they became disbelievers. So Sharawi says, turning away from a command of God was described as kufr, disbelievers. So it's better to just say that I believe, but maybe I'm not willing right now, or I'm not able right now. It's still wrong because you don't obey right away, but it's better than turning away or, just shining. Just walking away or rejecting the command right away, but you're just not able right now. إن الله اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم وآل عمران على العالمين. Indeed, Allah chose Adam and Noah and the family of Abraham and the family of Imran over the world. Now, this map I use for the stories of the prophets, the narratives, the best of narratives. And if you see here, Adam is right here. So, of course, Noah is from Adam, and Abraham is a direct descendant of Noah. And from Abraham, there was Ishaq, Yaqub, Daud, Sulaiman, and then Jesus. They're all chosen one. And ذرية بعضها من بعض والله سميع عليم. Descendants, some of them from others, and Allah is hearing and knowing. Prophets of the Jewish, Christians, and Muslims are from one family, literally, and it's true. The offspring of one another, spiritually linked. And God's approval upon obedience to His chosen message. But they also have been chosen. So they're chosen because the lineage and also because of their obedience. And then they try to, he went over who's a descendant of who. The house of Imran comprises Moses, Aaron, whose fathers are Imran. Aaron descendants, the priestly caste among the Israelis include John the Baptist, both whose parents were the same descendants. Okay, and John's mother, Elizabeth, is the daughter of Aaron, as well as Jesus' mother, who is Mary. إذ قالت امرأة عمران ربي إني نذرت لك ما في بطني محررا فتقبل مني إنك أنت السميع العليم. Mention, O Muhammad, when the wife of Imran said, My Lord, indeed I have pledged to you what is in my womb, consecrated for your service. She's freeing her for his service. So accept this from me. Indeed, you are the hearing and knowing. So she wanted her to service, to be devoted to the service of God. Um, Now there is John, similar to the birth of Mary, there is John the Baptist, son of Zechariah. John and Jesus were cousins, and there was a spiritual cousinhood. Elizabeth was the daughter of Aaron, Aaron the brother of Moses, the son of Amram. Her husband Zechariah was actually a priest, and her cousin Mary was presumably also from a priestly family. Mary's mother was called Hannah, and that is her father was Amram also. إذ قالت امرأة عمران ربي إني أنذرت. Okay, so Shahrawi says consecrated muharraran means liberated from any obligation toward me or anyone else, but only dedicated to worshiping and serving only God. But the ones who served the house of God at that time were only men. That means she really wanted to have a boy, or she wanted her to be a boy. فلما وضعتها قالت ربي إني وضعتها أنثى والله أعلم بما وضعت وليس الذكر كالأنثى وإني سميتها مريم وإني أعيذها بك وذريتها من الشيطان الرجيم. But when she delivered her, she said, My Lord, I have delivered a female, and Allah was most knowing of what she delivered. And the male is not like the female, and I have named her Mary, and I seek refuge for her in you and for her descendants from Satan, the expelled from the mercy of God. Now, the female child could not be devoted to a temple service under Mosaic law as she intended. So she was content to seek God's protection for her against all evil. So, and the male is not like a female. So Mary's excellence would go far beyond any hope. So she was just wanting her child to be a service of God, but her excellence would go beyond any hope which any mother would hope for or ever entertain. Sha'rawi says, My Lord, I have delivered a female. She is not telling God what she delivered because God knows what she delivered. She was disappointed that she won't be able to serve God's house, but God has greater position for her. God will put a sign in her and her son that never happened before. فتقبلها ربها بقبول حسن وأنبتها نباتا حسنا وكفلها زكريا كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا قال يا مريم أنى لك هذا قالت هو من عند الله إن الله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب. So her Lord accepted her with good acceptance, not just accept, and caused her to grow in a good manner and put her in the care of Zechariah. Every time Zechariah entered upon her in the prayer chamber, he found with her provision. He said, "O Mary, from where is this coming to you?" She said, "It is from Allah. Indeed, Allah provides for whom He wills without account." Asad said, the guardianship of Mary was entrusted to Zechariah, who was not only a relative, but a priest attached to the temple. in consequence of her mother's vow, was to be dedicated to the temple service. So Zechariah became, now there is a saying that Zechariah was unable to support Mary at one point or another, but his with by his own means. He is a priest, so the community decided to assume this responsibility through another of its member, who thereupon provided her daily with food. So when he went in and he saw food that he did not buy for her and asked her, it was from the community. Some say it was from angels, um, but you take what you believe what you. Mary grew under Allah's special protections. She was brought up. The text word are uh, purity and beauty. Uh, some Christian writings, she was brought up in a temple to age of 12 like a dove, and she was fed by angels. Oh, so this is the part where the angels were mentioned. It was mentioned in Christian writings. They were trying to describe her beauty and purity. Sha'rawi said Mary was put in care of Zachariah every time he entered upon her, the prayer chamber. That means he was always keeping an eye on her, protecting her, making her accountable for when he found with her new provision, asking her, "Where did you get that from?" Just like a strict protective father, he said. هنالك دعا زكريا ربه قال رب هب لي من لدنك ذرية طيبة إنك سميع الدعاء. At that, Zechariah called upon his Lord, saying, "My Lord, grant me from yourself a good offspring. Indeed, you are the hearer of supplication." Zechariah prayed for no ordinary son. He and his wife were past the age of parenthood. Seeing the growth of Mary, they prayed for a child. And they wanted him to be pure, and you want also a special sign. Sharawi said, since he prayed for a son, that means he believed her. He believed Mary. When he asked or prayed God to grant him a child, that means he knows it is impossible at this age. And his wife was barren. So he knew it was impossible, but he asked God anyway. فنادته الملائكة وهو قائم يصلي في المحراب أن الله يبشرك بيحيى مصدقا بكلمات من الله وسيدا وحصورا ونبيا من الصالحين. So the angels called him while he was standing in prayers in chamber. Indeed, Allah gives you good tidings of John, confirming a word from Allah, and who will be honorable, abstaining from women, and a prophet from among the righteous. Kalima, a word, it's an announcement from God. He announced John the Baptist, a divine promise given through revelation. The word is a word of God, a miracle, a word, to be, and it was, even though it was impossible conditions. Now, Sharawi says, after he asked God for a son, he went to pray He went to the praying chamber to pray, and before he was done, the angels came to give him the good tidings. Sha'rawi challenges anyone who is feeling down and feeling his impossible circumstances to get up and wash for prayers and ask God that I know how complex my circumstances are and don't know how it would happen, but you know the answer. Please help me, God, if it's the best for me. He said, the answer will come before you know it. He's challenging you that if you're feeling down right now, to get up, wash up, and do 2 rakahs of prayers and name your calling or name your need from God. And God will happen, inshallah, just like Zechariah did. So God named him Yahya. That means he lives. Yahya, he lives, literally. The ruler. Now, this is a story. It just I got into details because it's kind of sad story. The ruler intended to marry a woman who was forbidden to him during the ruling of Yahya or prophethood of Yahya, the king at the time. He wanted to forbid someone that is under divine law, forbidden to him under divine law, often described as his niece, maybe, or close relative he's not supposed to have. The Prophet Yahya publicly declared this marriage forbidden, abomination, according to the laws of the Torah. And the women engaged in enraged by his position, so she conspired to silence him. So her and her daughter, they seduced the king, and they when he asked, what do you desire? She wants for a reward. She demanded Prophet Yahya's head on a plate. So the ruler ordered Yahya to be imprisoned and then decapitated, and his head was served on a platter on a plate for a woman. Now, in Islamic tradition, it states that Allah punishes his killer. So some accounts mention that earth swallowed them, and other accounts it says that uh, they were punished severely by the invading army. So either the earth swallowed them, or maybe swallowed some, and the rest were punished severely from army invading. Now, shortly after Yahya's death, his father, Zechariah, was targeted and killed by the same people. Now, the Quran doesn't give details about the murder of these two prophets, but it goes to explain how unjustly prophets were killed. And it also offered a special blessing for Yahya. Peace be on him the day he was born, and the day of his death, and the day he will be raised back to life. قال رب أنى يكون لي غلام وقد بلغني الكبر وامرأتي عاقر قال كذلك الله يفعل ما يشاء. He said, my Lord, even though he asked for it, he says, my Lord, how will I have a boy when I have reached old age and my wife is barren? The angel says, such is Allah. He does what he wills. This will be repeated for Mary too. Such is. Sharawi said, God gave him a sign that he won't be able. Oh, I'm sorry. That should be on the next one. So let's read the next verse and come back. قال رب اجعل لي آية قال آيتك ألا تكلم الناس 3 أيام إلا رمزا واذكر ربك كثيرا وسبح بالعشي والإبكار. He said, My Lord, make for me a sign. He said, Your sign is that you will not be able to speak to the people for 3 days except by gesture, and remember your Lord much and exalt him with praise in the evening and the morning. He will not speak to anyone during the period of 3 days. So let's go back to this one. It says Sharawi said God gave him a sign that he won't be able to talk to people for 3 days except by gesture. And when that happens, that is his sign. When he's unable to talk to the people, he was not ordered to stop talking to the people, but when he can't talk, that's the sign from God. So he won't be able to talk to the people, but he will be able to praise the Lord and exalt him day and night. وإذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم إن الله اصطفاك وطهرك واصطفاك على العالمين. And mention when the angel said, O Mary, indeed Allah has chosen you and purified you and chosen you above the women of the world. Without intervention of customary physical means, she will give birth. She's more like it's a miracle from God, and she has more means to pray for God more than anyone else. Now, the Christians in all sects hold that Jesus was God, so they changed the words, and they left some out, but and then also called her Mother of God, which is not really, that's where they went wrong. Allah has chosen you, Charawi says, chosen you and purified you. That's one. That's personal to her. And chosen you above all women, because no one else would share her miracle, giving birth without a man. يا مريم اقنتي لربك واسجدي واركعي مع الراكعين. O Mary, be devoutly obedient to your Lord and prostrate and bow with those who bow in prayers. Sharawi said, because someone asked him right after the lecture, why raka'in and not raki'at, females? Because God always includes female within males, because they are from the male. But when he wants to address all of them, he would say al-mu'minina wal-mu'minati, male and female, wal-qanitina wal-qanitati, male and female. But when he just the way I look at it, he's not just addressing females, prostrating females. This is included male and female, and it's okay to say raka'in because it's general. So that includes male and female with all the raka'in, no exception. ذلك من أنباء الغيب نوحيه إليك وما كنت لديهم إذ يلقون أقلامهم أيهم يكفل مريم وما كنت لديهم إذ يختصمون. That is from the news of the unseen, which we reveal to you, O Muhammad, and you were not with them when they cast their pens, as to which of them should be responsible for Mary, nor were you with them when they dispute. The Prophet is meant to stress the fact that the story the fact that the story of Mary is narrated in the Quran. Direct revelations. Divination by means of blunt arrows. Okay, so um, they were trying to decide on who is going to take care of Mary. A clam is 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 Arab custom of casting lots with arrows as to honor of taking charge of Mary. So they were fighting over her. Now here's the story. Sharawi said, in the story of the prophet Yunus, Jonah, because the crew and the passenger recognized him as a righteous and holy man, they tried to avoid throwing him out of the boat. The first draw. So during the violent storm, the crew decided to cast lots or draw names to determine who was responsible for the divine wrath. So Eunice's name was drawn. And in the second drawn, they also refused to believe that someone so righteous will be the cause of this wrath. So they drew the name again. And the third and final, his name was drawn again. And then they concluded that this must be a divine decree. So it wasn't determined was he forced out or he volunteered, but he ended up jumping in the water. And once he jumped in the water, immediately the storm calmed, and he was swallowed by a giant fish or whale. Okay, so this is the same voting process was used when deciding over who will raise Mary. In this case, they were all priests and they were all fighting for her. They threw their pens, and the pens or the straws, arrows, whatever, they had their name on it, and Zachariah's name was drawn, and he was married to her mother's sister. So he actually her uncle, her aunt's husband. إذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم إن الله يبشرك بكلمة منه اسمه المسيح عيسى ابن مريم وجيها في الدنيا والآخرة ومن المقربين. And mention when the angel said, O Mary, indeed Allah gives you good tidings of a word from him, whose name will be the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, distinguished in this world and the hereafter, and among those brought near to Allah. Yusuf Ali is talking about how his name came about, the Messiah. It was from anointed, Greek word. From Hebrew and Arabic form. Al-Muqarrabin. He's going to Isa is the one are going to be close to who are drawn near unto God. Now, Asad, he also talks about how they came up with the name anointed, and he goes into all this just to get to the Messiah. God named him, so I don't really care about this much. I'm sorry. وَيُكَلِّمُ النَّاسَ فِي الْمَهْدِ وَكَهْلًا وَمِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. He will speak to the people in the cradle and in maturity, and will be of the righteous. So he was to inspire Jesus from a very young age. The ministry of Jesus lasted for 33 days. I'm sorry, for about 30 years, 30 to 33 years. And in the Christian's eyes, he was crucified, but God actually took him up. But people were saying that he, in a very young age, as early as 12, he used to, he had a strong spirit, and he used to dispute with the doctors in the temple. He's always had a strong spirit and filled with wisdom. So, and he also the gospel described him as preaching from infancy. Um, Sharawi said he will speak to the people in the cradle to clear his mother. Yeah, the reason he spoke in the cradle because his mom's reputation was suffering at the time, to clear her name. And it's a sign of God because she had a child without a father. This sign is not mentioned in the scripture, but here it says that it is, so I'm not sure. It says that it's in Luke Gospel. So, but Charawi said it was not mentioned. Or maybe just this part right here, that he talked to people, but they took out the servant of God. I'm not sure. Um, so the sign was not mentioned in the scripture. So they did mention that he talked, but he also said, I am a servant of God. Because if they paid attention, they would say, he said, the first thing he said was, I'm a servant of God, not God. I'm not son of God. And he talked in maturity, but he was taken up at an early age before he really reached that time. That means there will be time when he talks or speaks in maturity. So I don't know if that's when he comes back or that's when he judges people on the day of judgment. I'm not sure. قالت ربي أنى يكون لي ولد ولم يمسسني بشر قال كذلك الله يخلق ما يشاء إذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. She said, Oh my Lord, how will I have a child when no man has touched me? The angel said, such is Allah. He creates what He wills. When He decrees a matter, He only says to it be, and it is. Okay, I'm going to go directly to Charawi, whose name will be the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary. As soon as they told her Jesus, son of Mary, she knew that that he will be without a father, and she asked, how can I have a son without a man touching me or any man touching me? And the angel said, such is. Allah creates what He wills, confirming that without a man touching her, God's creation does not depend on male and female. Only God's will be, and it is. Just like He created Adam without either male or female. There can also be a male and female present, but cannot have kids because God made them barren. وَيُعَلِّمُهُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَالتَّوْرَاةَ وَالْإِنْجِيلَ. And He will teach him writing and wisdom and the Torah and the Gospel. وَرَسُولًا إِلَى بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ أَنِّي قد جئتكم بآيات من ربكم أني أخلق لكم من الطين كهيئة الطير وأنفخ فيه فيكون طيرا بإذن الله وإ- وأبرئ الأكمه والأبرص وأحيي وأحيي الموت بإذن الله وأنبئكم بما تأكلون تدخرون وما تدخرون في بيوتكم إن في ذلك لآية لكم إن كنتم مؤمنون. And make him a messenger to the children of Israel, who will say, Indeed, I have come to you with a sign from your Lord, in that I design for you from a clay that which is like the form of a bird. Then I breathe into it, and it becomes a bird by the permission of Allah. And I cure the blind and leper, and I give life to the dead by permission of Allah. And I inform you of what you eat and what you store in your houses. Indeed, that is a sign for you, if you are believers. Now, Sharawi says, when God gives people a sign, it has to be from what they are familiar with. Like Moses, he gives a sign of signs. The magician themselves recognize that it is not magic, but a sign from God. In case of Mary's family, they were known for their wisdom and medicine and healing the people. But if they fail to heal, then they die. So, I'm sorry, this is his sign, and I give you life, and I give life to the dead. So, his sign was that he gives life to the dead by permission of Allah. Another sign was he designs from a clay that is like the form of a bird, then he breathes into it and it becomes a bird by permission of Allah. Just like when God told Moses to cut 4 birds into pieces on a different mountain and call them. The key here is by permission of God, not from his own power. And I cure the blind and leper, because those were tough cases at the time, and inform you of what you eat and what you store in your houses. From what you eat, they might say, maybe you smelled what we're cooking, but what's stored in their pantries takes knowledge from God. Okay, so this he explains what we went over. This vision, brought to life by God given inspiration, would become their real destiny by God. Okay. Okay, so they're just going over the miracles. وَمُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيَّ مِنَ التَّوْرَاةِ وَلِأُحِلَّ لَكُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي حُرِّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ وَجِئْتُكُمْ بِآيَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونِ. And I have come confirming what was before you of the Torah, and to make lawful for you some of what was forbidden to you. And I have come to you with sign from your Lord. So fear Allah and obey me, whatever there is between my hands. Musaddiqan, so he is confirming what came before him in the Torah. Oh, sorry, I'm dying. One second. All right, here we go. Okay. Now, Sharawi was saying something about أُحِلَّ لَكُمْ. Um, I make lawful because sometimes God forbids things. Sometimes it's because it's bad for you, but sometimes it's just because He wants to see who follows. So don't say, okay, I'm just gonna explore whether or not it's good for me or not. If He says don't. Okay, so don't question it, don't confirm it, obey. إن الله ربي وربكم فاعبدوه هذا صراط مستقيم. Indeed, Allah is my Lord and your Lord, so worship Him. That is a straight path. Sharawi said the straight path here is to get us to our goal, which is to worship Him. And this is the energy. This is the energy that we need to be able to continue to handle work and populating life, because that's hard work. But we need the inspiration, we need the spiritual energy, is what we need. So, worshiping is not just praying and fasting, but after praying, everyone should go about their work diligently. Students do their work, workers do their work, and that is also part of worshiping if you do it right, if you do it with dignity and honor. فلما أحس عيسى منهم الكفر قال من أنصاري إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله آمنا بالله وأشهد بأننا مسلمون. But when Jesus felt persistence in disbelief from them, he said, who is my supporters for the cause of Allah? The disciples said, we are supporters for Allah and we have believed in Allah and testified that we are Muslims submitting to Him. Ansar are basically supporters of the religion. It was one religion, the religion of Allah, which was the religion of Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. So the commands of Allah does not change. Allah who have faith should bow to the will of Allah and be Muslims. Oh, I'm sorry. All who have faith should bow to the will of Allah and be Muslims. Al-Hawariyun are the disciples. They're said to be, they wear white. Sha'rawi said they really, when you see them, you see not because they're white, but because their aura is radiating faith, believe. They were devoted members of, and they called brotherhood. Okay, so he himself, Christ himself, belonged to this brotherhood. Insistence on moral purity, unselfish conduct, and always wore white garment, outward mark of their conviction. And they are Jesus' helpers in God's cause. Oh, we finished today's part. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.